Antony Adams has been a part of the squad last season, and he was dropped this time to the reserves. Care to share the reason why Adams was not selected?
Well, what happened is that we were given a timeline to select the team. And based on that, we selected the team on Friday,
20th.
which is the 20th, I think, right? And Antony Adams got his 4 wicket after the team was selected. So based on that, you were there, we saw Nedd bowling. He was bowling pretty well, where chances were given off him. And I think that's the reason why Nedd was selected in front of Adams.
What exactly would have given Nedd the nod over Adams in this scenario?
Because he had bowled pretty well. Adams had 2 wickets prior to the selection of the team. And I think that's a call that was made with the selectors, that Adams was not in the best, where we say the best role as a spinner.
Was consideration given to the experience of Adams in this scenario, given that you have one of your frontline spinners in Gudakesh Moti being out?
Yeah, we thought about that too, but then, Nedd was bowling pretty well, seeing that he's a West Indies emerging player also. And that's given him the chance to get in the side. We also had Richie Loknath, who was bowling pretty well. But then, consideration was also given to Kevin Sinclair, because he's a better batter and probably a better bowler than Richie Loknath.
There has been a concerted effort to look at fitness when selecting teams across the region these days. How much an impact did that have, if any, on the final selection of the Guyana Jaguars team, the Guyana Harpy Eagles team this time around?
Well, we had one training session whereby a couple of the guys that showed up, most of them missed the training session, and because of the weather, we didn't really get to do the other fitness. But as we said, fitness is a criteria for selection, and maybe in the future we can probably start to develop that a bit more.
Can I add something there? Yeah. First of all, with the shortness, the weather we had bad, the limited cricket, but then as an emerging player, and then Nedd having played in the regional 50 over, right? So when he would have been exposed already to some of the regional batsmen, right? And as manager, what I had seen in the last few series is that the bowlers, even the top ones we had, Moti and Pramal, the consistent control, like even 4 days, sometimes you need to lock down. You need somebody who, when things get into one, can lock down. And Nedd has established that in his bowling. He was on top of his control, right? And even although we get wickets, when people use wickets, sometimes selectors, we have to look at the quality of the bowling, the quality of the batsmen that you probably get out, right? And there were many times when you had partnership, there's when Nedd came in, peg away, and he got results. Sometimes he got a drop catch or whatever, but at the level he was, and then being in the loop with West Indies cricket, we had to make a decision on that. And we thought it would be better to give the man who's, coming up there.
What do you say to a guy like Adams, though, as selectors, if you have said anything to him to keep him motivated? Because this is a guy who has been performing consistently at the intercounty level and even at the trials level for, whenever there's selection to the team. What do you say to him to keep him motivated?
Well, of course, it would be, it was said to him a lot of years, because most of the times he's been wrong and he get a chance. But in my personal opinion, I what came through, like go to school, when a guy go to school and he's of a certain age, he automatically gets promoted, right? But I think promotion got to come performance. If you've been there, you've been doing good, and this is what is happening now, I think the person, the emerging place, especially at the level, should. But to answer your question, you got to be talked to, you got to think the board why we made the decision and was there like for him still in the cricket, It's not something that should be just happen like that.
But from where you sit on the selection panel, how would you describe the future for Antony Adams in terms of Guyana's cricket? Is he still part of the future setup? Because you've gone for youth in Ashmead Nedd.
He's on the standby, so it's always, I'll get different things to bring in.
Right? But the team is basically for the first 2 games. right? And they have a break and then an extra game. So, after this performance from the first 2 games, we can have a look at it. Because Adams is probably one of the better spinners after Moti and Kamal. So basically, we try to motivate him, keep him in the deck up, let him try to learn the straight a little bit more.